Kia ora, good evening. The Governor-General, the Right Honourable Sir Jerry Mateparae, arrived in Southland today, his first official visit in the role. Around 100 people welcomed the Governor-General and his wife, Lady Janine Mateparae, at Mirihuku Marae in Invercargill this morning. Among those at the marae, runanga, police, Māori wardens, politicians and school students. The purpose of the visit to the region is to meet people, celebrate achievements and find out about the region's plans and aspirations. The 5-day visit will also include a civic reception to mark Gore's 150th anniversary and a visit to Stewart Island. And Sarah Bedford spoke to the Governor-General, the Right Honourable Sir Jerry Mateparae, about his goals in the role and his visit to the region.
The visit is our first vice-regal visit to Southland. I've been here before last year with the Order of St John, but this is an opportunity to come and learn about Southland in a more fuller way, to find out what people's aspirations are about Southland, and so that I can, and together with Janine, we can go away and be advocates not only for New Zealand but specific parts of New Zealand, and what sort of resonates for us will resonate for those who we're talking to.
Now, you've been in the role for around a year now. How are you finding it?
We're absolutely loving it. When you have the opportunities we have, like visits like this, but also of being involved in celebrating the success of New Zealanders, as we were last Wednesday with Valerie Adams, and being part of the ceremony that delivered her gold medal, as we were on the weekend in Dunedin, celebrating young people with the Duke of Edinburgh Hillary Award program. So it's it's a fantastic opportunity to meet and engage with New Zealanders, enjoying it.
Why do you think it's an important role?
I think it's important that New Zealanders can see that there is a representative of our head of state, the Queen, on the one hand, but also that others outside of New Zealand can see a New Zealander as the person who represents New Zealanders in the good times and sometimes the sad times, as we've had over the recent year and a half.
Now, do you have any goals yourself in the role?
Yeah, we do. There are some things that I've asked the staff to ensure that we're concentrating on as we do our 5 years in the role. One is service and celebrating service, commemorating service. The other is enterprise. I think if New Zealanders are enterprising people, and we should be able to celebrate that. Another one is young people, and I think young people generally get a bad rap, but when you look at how well they succeed and how well they do things, that's great. The other one would be excellence. The background that I come from, if you came second, wasn't a good place to be. So doing things well and doing them to the best of your ability is what will make New Zealand successful. And then the other one is volunteering, and we have an army of volunteers doing all sorts of things across New Zealand, and it's recognising those. Then there are some specifics around Canterbury and Christchurch, around New Zealanders and how they integrate into the community. So those are some of the things that we want to do.
3 licensed premises in Invercargill were caught selling alcohol to a minor in a police sting. 9 premises were visited in the Joint Police Alcohol Harm Reductions Unit and Public Health South operation on Friday night. The 3 which failed and sold alcohol to the 16-year-old were Barluka, East End Bottle Store and Southland Super Liquor. Meanwhile, a separate police operation in Invercargill and Eastern Southland on Friday and Saturday night saw more than 1,400 cars stopped at checkpoints, with 2 drink drivers and a drug driver caught in the city. Mountain biking is growing in popularity in the south, and a national competition being held in a few months will see more thrill seekers on their bikes in Bluff. In January, Southland will be part of the New Zealand Mountain Bike Cup series for the first time, and work's underway to prepare for the race and possibly more riders. Christelle Price explains.
In a bid to draw more mountain bike riders to the south, a local club is planning to alter 2 tracks at Bluff Hill. The New Zealand Mountain Bike Cup Series will be held in the port town for the first time in January. And Southland Mountain Bike Club President David Brookland says it's hoped a $15,000 upgrade of the tracks will be completed in time for the national competition.
You've got to build it and they will come. That's one of the philosophies. And because we've got the Mountain Bike Cup here, we're going to have the elite of New Zealand mountain bikers here. So we want to show what we've got and what we're keen to do, and we just want to develop more, build more tracks out here.
The downhill and cross-country tracks are on Invercargill City Council land, but the mountain bike club maintains the tracks. Work will see the tracks extended and difficulty increased in parts of the downhill course. Mr. Brooklyn says the existing downhill track is too easy for some riders.
For the downhill, we're trying to put in a more technical section for the New Zealand Mountain Bike Cup that's here on the 4th, 5th and 6th of January. Some of the guys here are finding it a little bit easy, relatively easy, so they want something that's going to be a bit more technical, and we also want to extend the ride time on the course. The top guys here are coming down in about 2 minutes 40, and we want to get them out towards about 3 minutes. So if we put a tighter, more technical section in here, that'll increase the ride time. So it gives the riders a better chance to show off their skills and get more of a ride in.
The alterations are expected to draw over 100 riders to the region for the Mountain Bike Cup Series next year, providing economic benefits for Southland. The club is funding $10,000 for the upgrade, and community funders have been approached for the shortfall.
We've put the feelers out to the local community funders. We've been in touch with the ALT Foundation to get their support, because we're hoping that it's going to bring a lot of people into Invercargill and the Southland region.
Riders competing in the Downhill Southern Series on Saturday were keen to see the sport grow in the region.
This track we've got at the moment, it's good for lots of, it's pretty easy, so to have another one that's a bit harder would be good to, bring out high level riders and just, get more riding in the region.
Yeah, it'd be cool, we got a few guys around from Dunedin doing it, and it's always cool to have small town rivalry sort of thing, but your mates at the end of the day. That's cool.
It'll be good. I mean, we've only got one track here, so with another one, hopefully bring more riders here. I think it'll be great.
Work will start on the tracks in mid-October, and it's hoped the changes will be completed by the end of November. Christelle Price, South Today News.
After the break, job cuts are announced for 2 large New Zealand companies. Welcome back. Solid Energy today announced further cuts, with the company looking to shed 25% of its jobs, saying cuts are being made in response to the challenges it's facing. A 50% cut has been proposed to corporate, support services and development jobs, while it's also proposed to put Spring Creek Mine into care and maintenance, and staff cuts at Huntly East Mine were confirmed. Meanwhile, 158 Kiwi Rail employees will lose their jobs by the end of next month, with the company confirming cuts today. The total number of staff losses has been revised, with 23 fewer cuts than initially planned. Infrastructure and Engineering General Manager Rick van Barneveld says staff will be told this week which roles are going to be disestablished. He says the restructure is in response to the effects of a sluggish economy and continuing economic uncertainty. It's not yet known how many Southlanders will be affected, but 40 jobs will be cut in the southern region. Nationally, the number of people trout fishing is declining. However, Southland is bucking that trend. Over 9,000 licences are sold in the region each year, with the season starting on October 1st. Christelle Price spoke to Fish and Game Southland manager Maurice Rodway.
Well, the number of fishing licences in Southland has been increasing slowly over the last few years, but it's been not really much of an increase compared to, say, the game bird hunting licences, which have gone up quite a lot. But nationally, licences have declined overall, and that's a bit of a concern for Fish and Game. But certainly in Southland, Otago, the Southern Lakes area, fishing is still very popular, and we haven't noticed really too much of a decline.
Why do you think it has declined overall nationally?
I think there's a lot of interest that people have nowadays, and in the cities it's quite difficult to get access to rivers and streams where there's trout fishing, so that means that people have got other things to do. And the North Island sea fishing's probably more popular, except in the Taupo Rotorua area. So you can go fishing for snapper and that sort of thing off the coast, and it's a bit more successful than trout fishing up there. But in the South Island, and particularly the lower part of the South Island, trout fishing is really popular, and trout are easily accessible, and they're good to eat too.
When do you start monitoring around trout fishing season?
Well, on the opening day and then for the days after that and the weekends, of course, we'll be checking to make sure that people have got their new fishing licence. And then we have honorary rangers as well as the permanent staff that do that work. So we'll be doing that right throughout, but certainly we'll have a bit of a focus on the opening weekend and the opening few days. And then we look also at the holiday times, and that's when people will probably be going fishing as well.
Do you generally have many issues around compliance?
We find that fishing compliance is a lot better than game bird hunting compliance. We have about 97-98% compliance for the fishing regulations and people having licences and not catching too many fish or using the wrong gear or anything, so that's pretty pleasing. I think people expect, especially if they're fishing on the lakes, that they will see a ranger sooner or later, and so we have a fairly high compliance effort and we have a good compliance record as well.
What generally do you have issues with?
The main problem is people that don't have a fishing licence. They will get asked to go fishing by their mates and say, oh yes, we'll just go out for a little while and give it a go. These are normally people that are not really serious anglers and they might just want to have a bit of a try for a while. But people who do want to go fishing on a regular basis almost always have their licence.
20 Southland students were encouraged to play with food at the weekend using cans to create art. The children turned more than 1,500 cans of food into sculptures at the Southland Museum and Art Gallery in a Canstruction event. Canstruction is an international organisation which encourages people to design large-scale structures and create them using tinned food. The 4 sculptures, an M&M, a Smurf, an Angry Bird and a character from the movie Despicable Me, will be on display for a month. Students designed the pieces themselves with some help from the SIT. The food will be donated to the Salvation Army. People were transported through the musical eras in Invercargill at the weekend for the Whānau Harmony Choir's annual show. 31 women performed a range of a cappella items at Southland Boys High School on Saturday night. The Kaleidoscope-themed concert was held in conjunction with the Whānau Harmony and ILT Scholarship, giving young female singers the chance to win $2,000. Over 200 people attended the evening, now in its 8th year. Whānau Harmony Choir Assistant Director Rowan Burr says the event is held to encourage women to develop a singing career, give the choir a chance to perform and draw more members. And that's it from news. Coming up in sport, the Stags make it 2 wins from 6 starts as they defeat North Harbour to stay in contention for a top 4 finishing spot. From the news team, good night.